In the heart of the mighty Benin kingdom, where the sun made coral beads gleam and the air smelled of palm wine and power, two princesses were born into a shared destiny. Princess Adesuwa and her younger sister, Princess Ahimwenma, were the jewels of the royal palace. Their father, the great Oba Ogieva, had no son, and ancient tradition dictated that one of his daughters must one day wear the crown. Adesuwa, the elder, was a vision of grace and wisdom. Her words flowed like a gentle stream, and her calm spirit earned her the love of the people. Ehimwenma, however, was a storm of passion and fire. She was fierce and bold, a master of horse and bow, and she debated with elders without a hint of fear. Both sisters were undeniably beautiful, but their beauty was of a different nature. Adesuwa's was serene and quiet, while Ehimwenma's was a brilliant light that demanded to be seen. For many years, they lived in a fragile peace, each sister secretly believing their father would choose the other to succeed him. Adesuwa admired Ehimwenma's strength, and Ehimwenma revered Adesuwa's wisdom. But everything changed when the royal council made the announcement. The Oba would soon select his heir. Suddenly, the very air in the palace grew thick with unspoken tension. Smiles became masks, laughter felt brittle, and the servants whispered of a rivalry that could no longer be contained. One moonlit evening, as Adesuwa walked through the royal courtyard, her thoughts heavy, she saw an old woman sitting by the sacred fig tree. The woman's hair was as silver as moonlight, and her eyes were sharp, as if they could pierce through flesh and see the soul within. "Princess," she said, her voice a soft rustle, "your father's choice will not be guided by wisdom alone. The shadow of envy is closer than you think. If you wish to see the truth, come to the grove at midnight." Though caution urged her to stay, a deeper curiosity pulled Adesuwa toward the grove. Under the pale glow of the moon, the old woman was waiting. She handed Adesuwa a small, intricately carved mirror. "This mirror does not show faces," the woman warned, her voice low and serious. "It shows the hearts of those who stand before it. But you must be careful. Some truths are not meant to bring peace." Back in the safety of her chambers, Adesuwa's hands trembled as she held the mirror. She looked into its polished surface, at first seeing only her own reflection. Then, the surface shimmered and warped. She gasped, dropping the mirror onto her sleeping mat. Instead of her own gentle eyes, she saw a storm of swirling shadows, dark pools of envy, suffocating pride, and something else, something much darker. But it wasn't her heart. The shadows coalesced, twisting and forming into the face of her sister, Ehimwenma. The next morning, the world felt different. Adesuwa tried to act as if nothing had changed, but she couldn't stop watching her sister. Every smile from Ehimwenma now seemed to hide a sneer. Every compliment felt like a poisoned dart. Adesuwa began to withdraw, seeking solitude, locking the mirror away in a chest. But out of sight did not mean out of mind. The image of her sister's corrupted heart was burned into her memory. Ehimwenma, for her part, was not blind to the change. She saw the distance growing between them, a cold silence where laughter once lived. "Sister, what have I done to offend you?" she asked one evening, her voice filled with genuine concern. "Nothing," Adesuwa replied, her answer coming too quickly, too sharply. "You have done nothing." But her tone was a betrayal, and the seed of distrust, once planted, had now grown deep, venomous roots. Soon, the Oba's council declared a royal contest, a series of trials to determine who was truly fit for the throne. The first was a test of wisdom. Adesuwa, with her calm logic and clear answers, won with ease, earning the admiration of the elders. The second was a test of courage. A fire had broken out in a nearby village, and Ehimwenma, without a moment's hesitation, rode her steed through the flames to rescue a child trapped in a burning hut. She won the roaring approval and love of the crowd. The final test was the most sacred, the ritual of truth. Each princess was to swear an oath before the ancestral shrine, declaring that her heart carried no envy for the other. The night before the ritual, Adesuwa sat in her room, her heart a knot of fear and confusion. Suddenly, the chest holding the mirror began to glow with an eerie light. She opened it and picked up the mirror, her voice a desperate whisper. "Show me the truth of my sister's heart." This time the image that formed was different. It showed Ehimwenma not as a monster of envy, but as a heartbroken woman kneeling before the ancestral shrine, tears streaming down her face. She was praying, her words choked with sobs. I love my sister more than anything, but I wish I had her peace. Why must everyone always compare us? Adesuwa's hands trembled and the mirror almost slipped from her grasp. It had lied. Or perhaps it hadn't lied. Perhaps it had only shown her what she secretly feared, what she wanted to see to justify her own ambition. Overcome with guilt, she ran from her room, racing toward the shrine before dawn, desperate to find her sister and make things right. But when she burst into the hallowed space, she froze. Ehimwenma was already there, kneeling, holding the very same mirror. "What are you doing with my mirror?" Adesuwa asked, her voice trembling with shock. Ehimwenma turned, her eyes red and swollen from crying. "Your mirror? The old woman gave this to me too. She told me it would reveal my sister's heart. I saw envy, pride, deceit. I thought you wanted to destroy me." The two sisters stared at each other, the terrible truth finally dawning on them. The mirror had shown both of them lies, or worse, it had shown them a perfect reflection of their own fears and insecurities. As they stood there, a crack appeared in the mirror Ehimwenma was holding. It split down the middle, and a thick, unnatural mist rose from it, swirling and forming the ghostly image of the old woman. "You both desired the crown more than you desired each other's peace," the spirit's voice echoed in the shrine. "The mirror only showed you what already lived inside your own hearts." With those chilling words, the mist dissolved into nothing, leaving the sisters shaken to their core, the broken pieces of the mirror lying between them. When the sun rose on the day of the final ritual, the sisters stood before the entire kingdom and the ancestral shrine. Instead of swearing her innocence, Adesuwa knelt. "If the throne will destroy the bond I share with my sister," she declared, her voice ringing with conviction, "then I reject it." Ehimwenma's eyes filled with tears. She stepped forward, removed the small coronet from her head, and let it fall to the ground. "Then let my sister rule," she said, her voice full of love, "for she has the heart of a true queen." A murmur of awe swept through the crowd. Their father, the Oba, his face a mixture of pride and profound emotion, rose to his feet. "Neither of you will rule alone," he proclaimed. "From this day forward, the kingdom shall be guided by both your wisdom and your courage." And so, the two sisters ruled together, the first co-rulers in the long and storied history of the Benin kingdom. The broken mirror was buried deep beneath the sacred fig tree, and it never glowed again. But the people say that sometimes, on nights when the moon is full, you can hear a soft whisper on the wind, a timeless reminder that envy can hide in the most unexpected places, even within a love that looks as pure as gold. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another journey into history and legend. See you next time.